Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. I am doing a fridge restock and food prep with you guys today. You seemed to love it last time I did it. So I just ran to Costco and you'll see me restocking our fridge as well as doing some things that I like to food prep. And I hope you guys enjoy this video. And if you do, make sure you like and comment down below with something that you always have on hand. And subscribe before you go. We're building a huge family over here and it has been incredible. Let's get started. Here's what it looks like when we get right home from Costco. I'm gonna have Derek take this big box upstairs since it's all of the perishable stuff, and then I'm gonna fill our food storage. I've got my little helper here. He's so cute, just moving things around. Food storage has been replenished with whatever we got from Costco. Like we had the almond milk, the onions, a bunch of marinara sauce, some beans, things like that. And now we're gonna go fill the fridge. Go back and watch my Costco haul if you wanna see exactly what we got. I'll have it linked down below, but Eric just brought all this stuff up for me. He's so sweet, freaking love him. I'm gonna go ahead and put this stuff away wherever it belongs, either in our pantry or right behind me in our fridge or freezer. I always tend to go with the freezer stuff first just because obviously it's melting. I think I'm gonna need to do a pantry organization video soon because this is looking a little bit rough, but I do not have time for it at the moment. So we're just gonna throw these snacks in there. Look at my pretty snack box. This makes me so happy. Crazy boy's back here running around in his new shoes, but I have a mixing bowl set of these stainless steel bowls, and this is what I use for my fruit bowls. I wish I had a cuter fruit bowl, but I also don't have a ton of space to put it. Frequently, the size of bowl that I need changes because I don't want a massive bowl out with two things in it. But because we're stocking back up, I'm gonna put out this big guy for all of our oranges that we have over here, and I'm just gonna restock it. Also, getting rid of the extra plastic packaging and recycling it after feels so good. I also have 2 lemons from our previous week, so I'm gonna go ahead and throw those guys in there too. That bowl can be washed, and then we'll just put it back in our corner. Then we have 5 things of bananas. Again, if you saw my Costco haul, I explained to you how I like to use them and why we got 5 things of bananas. We also have 2 pineapple that need to ripen. My counter won't always look like this. It's gonna look cluttered for a little bit, but I just let everything ripen and then I kind of move it to where it needs to go, either the freezer or the fridge or to be cut up, things like that. Also got some avocados. So what I have left here is all perishable stuff, things that I need to throw into the fridge. Well, that's what we're moving on to next. Okay, I know this doesn't look very organized, but I promise there's a method to my madness. And it is somewhat organized, like towards the back. These mushrooms are just sitting out here because that's the only place I have for them. But I'm actually gonna be chopping them up later, so they'll go into like a plastic bag or a zip, like a Tupperware. And that'll be a lot easier to store. And then I just put my extra spinach right up here until we finish that bag down there. These wipes need to go upstairs. These ugly bananas I'm gonna be using later today. I can use these for baking when they go bad like this, and it makes it a lot sweeter. That's why I've let them kind of go really spotty. But then the last thing, well, not the last thing, I need to put away these like smashed guacamole, avocados, whatever you call them. And I like to put half in the fridge and half in the freezer. As you probably saw in the freezer, we have a ton of meat. So I only needed to get one thing of meat this week, which was organic ground beef. And I am just going to separate these. They're already kind of like perforated, but in my experience, you still need to cut them. Just gonna throw these guys into the freezer as well. And actually, I'm gonna leave one out because I think we're gonna end up doing like burgers or taco bowls tonight or something like that. So I'm gonna throw the other two up into the freezer here, just kind of wherever they fit for the moment. My little helper, he's messing around with all the condiments, if you can even hear me over that. But that's totally fine with me because, I don't know, he's learning to help and whatever. Put the condiments back. This is what our fridge looks like. I'd say it's pretty organized considering we have a tiny fridge, but this is how you can eat fresh with a tiny fridge, guys. You can make it work. Oh, thank you. And here is our freezer up here as well. Nice and restocked. I'm so happy. I am going into my food prepping right now, and I'm actually making some sweet potato and regular fries. I just had a couple of regular potatoes still left on hand, and then our new sweet potatoes that we just got today. And I'm gonna be making these for dinner with our 50-50 burgers. We're making burgers that are half mushroom, half ground beef. We've made them before and they've been amazing, and I was just reminded of the recipe today. I'm gonna be going ahead, and while I'm cutting the mushrooms for the burgers, I'm also going to cut them up and put them in a bag, and that'll be part of my food prep. Real quick before I get started on the mushrooms, I'm actually going to throw these guys into the oven. I'm going to coat them with, I know this bottle says avocado oil, but I actually have refilled it with just organic extra virgin olive oil. I just like the smaller bottle sitting on my counter. And then I'm gonna use some of this real salt. Potatoes definitely need salt. We're gonna do a little bit of fine ground black pepper, some garlic powder, and some crushed red pepper flakes. These are something that are super easy to prep ahead of time and just throw in, even if you're not having for dinner tonight, but you can eat them the next day in like a bowl for lunch, or with a burger for lunch, chicken nuggets for lunch, whatever you want to do. But they're super easy to have on hand and already have prepped and ready to go, and they take minimal effort. And clean ingredients, right? We don't have all the added extra crap that you find in like tater tots and stuff, which, don't get me wrong, we still buy tater tots and all of that because they're way easy. These guys are so good. I like to spread them out so that they're not quite touching if I can. That way we're not steaming them, we're actually like roasting them, like we're gonna get a little bit of color. And then we're gonna throw them in the oven at 425 for, I'd say, probably 30 minutes. These are what our mushrooms look like for tonight, and I'm just gonna set them aside in a small bowl while I cut the rest of the mushrooms to go into a baggie. In my pan, I am heating up some olive oil, and then I have my mushrooms right here that I'm going to go ahead and pour in. And we're gonna go ahead and saute these down and season them before I mix them with the ground beef. While I have some things going on the stove, this is when I like to take some time to food prep some other things that could be helpful during the week. So in my Instant Pot, I have 4 cups of vegetable broth and 4 cups of rice. I'm just gonna put my lid on, set it to the ceiling like knob back here, and then I'm gonna set it on pressure cook It's already on for 24 minutes, high pressure, and then we'll let it natural release for 23 minutes. I am going to go ahead and make the burgers. You can see I have our sauteed mushrooms down there. We've got about a pound of ground beef. We're gonna do a little bit of ketchup, a little bit of regular yellow mustard. We've got some pepper, salt, red pepper flakes, and garlic powder. Basically the same things that we seasoned our French fries with. And I'm just gonna mix that together and form them into patties. Burgers are cooking right behind me, and you saw them. They're called 50-50 burgers, so they're supposed to be half mushroom, half beef. I didn't do enough mushroom. That's okay, they'll still be great, but just maybe do more mushroom than I did. I was going based on memory from the recipe. So I've got my rice cooking, my burgers are cooking behind me. I have these grilled onions and some garlic butter mushrooms right here to go on top of our burgers. I'm gonna chop up like an avocado for me. We're gonna do pickles, mustard, ketchup, and I think those might be my fries. Oh, those look good. Look at these. Ah, yes. So I did just kind of broil these right at the end because I love to get a little bit of crisp on them, and they turned out perfectly. We're gonna let these cool a little bit and then we'll plate them up. Also, when I put cheese on burgers, I do throw a little bit of a lid on. Okay, here's the finished product. We have some sweet potato fries, also some regular fries. We have our 50-50 burger covered in pickles and grilled onions, and we've got some smashed avocado on there. And then I'm also gonna be doing some mustard and some ketchup. So good. Here's the end result of our rice. You can see like where the vegetable broth settled, but that's totally fine. All I'm gonna do is just kind of stir it all up, and then we're gonna put it into these Tupperwares, and then we'll throw it into the fridge. As you guys can tell, it's the next day, and I'm going to be making some breakfast cookies, basically. They're super easy, filled with whole foods, and I love that. So I'm gonna show you how to make them. It's literally like just a couple of ingredients, and you probably have them all on hand. I've got all my ingredients out here, and the very first thing you're gonna start with are some really ripe bananas. The more ripe they are, the more sweet it's going to be. So anytime they start turning spotty and brown is when you will be okay to use them. Don't use them if they're like still green. Now we're just gonna mash them all together until they're pretty smooth as we can get. And the more ripe they are, the easier they're gonna be to mash. Next thing we're gonna do is just add some salt. I just eyeball it, and some vanilla extract. That looks about right. So the next thing I'm gonna do is add a half a cup of peanut butter. This is in a cup, measuring cup. And we've got our 2 cups of oats in there. Mix that all together. I'm gonna add just a few more oats because that just looks a little wet for our tasting. Or actually, you know what? Before I add more oats, I'm gonna add our toppings. So this is where you can add in any kind of add-ins that you want. I'm gonna use some mini Enjoy Life chocolate chips. They're just semi-sweet, and some raisins because that's what I like to put in them. But you could do coconut, you could do dried cherries, you could do sliced almonds. Yeah, feel free to mix it all up. If you're a raisin fan, raisins go great in this recipe. I'm just gonna do a little handful of oats. Just looks a little wet. We're gonna try our best to make them about the same size. If you have like a cookie scooper, this would be a great time to use it and make them into 1 to 2 tablespoon balls. Put them on a parchment-lined baking sheet, and then we'll throw them in the oven. Feel free to make these any size that you want, but these are meant to be breakfast cookies, so you're meant to be able to take one on the go with you to work or while you're breastfeeding or whatever you need them for. But you could totally make these mini and just adjust your baking time. We're gonna throw them in the oven at 350. And we're gonna bake them for 15 minutes. And as you can see, I have some left over here, so I'll just make 2 batches. Timer just went off. I wish you could smell it because they don't, whoa, steamy. They don't look much different than when they went in. They smell amazing. So I'm just gonna scrape these guys off, put them on a cooling rack, and put my other batch in. Here are our cookies. They're amazing. They're so soft. I typically just keep these in a Ziploc bag on my countertop for maybe like 5 days. My batch made 13 cookies. Of course, if you size them differently, it's gonna end up with a different number. I have also tested them frozen. So I put them in a Ziploc bag, made sure all the air was out, threw them in the freezer. They stayed there for about a month. I'm assuming they would probably keep well for at least a month in the freezer. And then I pulled them out, I let them defrost, and I kept them in the fridge. I wasn't sure if I should keep them on the counter or the fridge, but then before I ate it, I would just stick it on a plate in the microwave for 15 seconds, and it came out perfect every single time. These are a great thing to have on hand in the freezer if you're breastfeeding, postpartum, if you're pregnant, if you are someone who just wants to eat whole, good, nutritious foods for your body. These are going to be perfect for you. And I love that you can customize them with any flavor that you want, because you can make these every week, but if you start getting tired of them, just switch up your ingredients. As you guys could tell, that took me several days to do, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do and mom life takes over. But I got everything done and it feels so good to be prepared. So hope you guys enjoyed that video. And if you did, make sure you like and comment down below with something that you always keep on hand. Subscribe before you go, and we'll see you next time. Bye.